As a fisherwoman passed by the palace, the queen appeared at the window and asked her to come near.
I want to buy a fish. Female fish.
The queen said that she wanted to buy a female fish. Exactly at that moment, the fish laughed. It's a male fish, the fisherwoman said and left. Now the laughter of the fish greatly upset the queen.
Oh, queen, why are you so sad? I am fine, thank you. I wanted to buy a fish. I called a fisherwoman, and then when I asked for a female fish, the fish looked at me and laughed. A fish laughed at you? A fish? Oh, no, my dear. A fish? I am not dreaming. I saw it with my own eyes and I heard it with my own ears.
Oh no.
All right. Let me make all the necessary inquiries. Let me find out.
So the next morning, the king called the Wazir and asked him to investigate the matter.
Wazirji, you have 6 months to find the answer to this question. And if you don't come with an answer at the end of 6 months, you will be beheaded.
For 5 months, the Wazir did his best but could not come up with an answer. Feeling sure that he was going to die, he set about to arrange his affairs.
Son, go out and travel the world and do not return until many months pass by when the king's anger will have subsided. Well, wherever my legs and kismet will take me, there I will go.
The young fellow started off and soon met an old farmer who was on his way back to his village from a journey. The young man found him pleasant and asked if he might join him. The farmer agreed and they worked together. The day was hot and the way was long and weary.
Don't you think it would be nice if we carried one another sometimes?
A little later, they passed through a field of grain ready for harvest.
Is this eaten or not? I don't know. Friend, take this and get 2 horses. But please, bring this back. It's very precious.
What?
After that, they reached the bazaar of that village where no one greeted them or invited them to come in and rest.
What a large cemetery.
Ow! After that, they actually passed a cemetery.
What a splendid city.
Huh?
I wonder what he'll do next. This man is really crazy. After that, they had to wade through a stream. And while the farmer took off his shoes and pajamas to cross it, the young man waded through it with his shoes and pajamas on.
Oh my god.
Oof, I've never seen such a perfect idiot. Calling the land water, the water land, the light when it's dark and dark when it's light. Oof. And yet, he liked the young fellow and wanted to invite him home to amuse his wife and daughter.
Sure, but only if the beam of your house is strong. This young man has come with me all way long. He's a perfect idiot. I couldn't make sense of anything he said. And when I invited him, he wanted to know if the beam of our house is strong enough.
Now, the farmer's daughter was a very sharp and wise girl.
Father, this friend of yours is not a fool. He's a very wise man. All he wants to know is if you can entertain him. Oh, I see. Well, then maybe you can help me understand some of the other things that he said. Certainly. He said that when we are walking, we should carry one another. What he meant was, you should tell each other stories to pass the time. When we were passing by a wheat field, he asked me if the wheat in the field was eaten or not. And you did not know what it meant, Father? What he meant was whether or not the owner of the field was in debt. Because if he was, then the produce of the field was as good as already eaten, because it would all go to the creditor. Oh, yes. When we were going through a village, he gave me his pocket knife, asked me to get 2 horses, and then to give him back the knife in good shape. Are not 2 stout sticks as good as 2 horses on the road? He only asked you to cut 2 sticks and not lose the knife. And then, when we were going through the city and nobody was offering us food, nobody was being kind to us, he called it a cemetery. But when we went through a cemetery, we ran into people who were greeting us so kindly and they gave us food to eat, and he called it a city. Look, Father, inhospitable people are worse than dead, and a city full of them is a dead place. But in this cemetery, which is crowded with the dead, you were welcomed so kindly and given food to eat. And you know, when we were crossing the river, he took off his shoes and started wading through the waters. I admire him. I have often thought how stupid of people to cross that river with bare feet when it is filled with such sharp stones. The slightest of the tumble and they're going to fall into the river and get wet from head to foot. Father, your friend is really a wise man. I would like to meet him and talk to him. Oh, well, very good. I'll bring him. Father, tell him that our beams are strong enough. Then he'll come in.
She then prepared a dish of porridge, 12 chapatis, and a jar of milk.
Here, take this plate to him and give him this message. The moon is new, there are 12 months in a year, and the sea is overflowing with water.
But the foolish, greedy servant decided instead to have some of the porridge, milk, and a chapati for himself.
Give your mistress my greetings and tell her, the moon is new, I can only find 11 months of the year, and the sea by no means is overflowing. He gave a message. The moon is not new. There are only 11 months in the year, and the sea is definitely not overflowing with water.
And he was caught red-handed. The young man was treated royally, and in the course of the conversation, he told them everything about the fish's laughter, his father's threatened execution, and his own exile, and he asked for advice.
The laughter of the fish. The laughter of the fish, which seems to be the root cause of this trouble, is an indication that there is a man in the queen's palace and the king does not know about it.
Huh?
Oh, is it so? Oh, well, there is still time for me to get back home and save my father in time. Thank you so much. Father, I'm back. I found the answer. Oh yes, come let's go and tell the king about it.
The Wazir had not expected this, and so lost no time in rushing to the king's palace. And there he repeated what his son had told him.
A man in the queen's palace? Not possible. Your Highness, I propose a test. Why not dig a pit and ask all the attendants from the queen's palace to jump over it? And we'll know the man by the way he jumps.
The idea appealed to the king, and he decided to do so. And when the attendants jumped,
It's true!
indeed one of them turned out to be a man. The king was very much pleased with the Wazir and his son, and he rewarded both of them handsomely. And the Wazir could not be much happier.